Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide land a massive commitment as Peyton Woodyard flips his commitment from the Georgia Bulldogs and commits to Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. We're talking about a really talented safety that can kind of do it all, and we'll dive into the film. But when I was checking him out, you kind of get some Malachi Moore vibes in terms of can play single high safety, is really good in coverage, but when you ask him to come into the box, be a little bit more physical against the run, blitz on certain occasions, Peyton Woodyard can do all of that. And what I think is massive, not only is this massive because you're flipping one of Georgia's top commits to Alabama, but you're also getting a guy that I think is such an important aspect of the modern day college football defense, right? Having as much speed on the field as possible to cover really good athletes playing against Tennessee type offenses, but also being able to stop the run. Malachi Moore, Brian Branch, I thought they did a really good job of that for Alabama last year. Peyton Woodyard could be a guy that I think could provide that similar sort of value. Now, before we dive into Peyton Woodyard and kind of recap what Alabama is doing in this 2024 class, just want to say thank you to you guys and Alabama fans. We've tried to break down as many of these commitments as possible. The support from you guys truly does mean a lot. So if you enjoy talking recruiting, you enjoy the updates, the content, consider subscribing to the channel. That helps the boys out in a big way. And it sounds like Alabama just really getting it started in the month of August. So stay tuned for more. Now let's get into Peyton Woodyard. Top 100 national dude, according to the 24/7 Sports Composite. You take a look at some other recruiting services, Rivals being specific. I mean, they have him as a top 20 national player, and there's a lot to like. A few things on the surface level coming from St. John Bosco, kind of in a way, just a college football program, just at the high school level. You know you're going to get guys who are ready to play early, right? They treat those guys like they're college football players. When they come to their freshman year, like they're normally a little bit more developed. And I think Peyton Woodyard, looking at 6'2", 190 pounds almost, is certainly one of those guys. Now, I do want to get into the film a little bit, talk about what Peyton Woodyard brings to the table, because again, really exciting player. You're going to see him start off as being kind of that single high safety, being a little bit of a ball hawk. He has the range. He has the athleticism and size to go play the football at the catch point. Really, really good in coverage. See him getting athletic on the return. But in the next couple of reps, what you'll see, and this is what's so intriguing about him, is he's a guy that can come into the box and tackle in space. And that is something that is so important in the modern college football offenses. Here it is against modern day, coming down, filling up a hole and making a tackle in space. Really, really important. Again, another rep from modern day where he's able to get over in coverage and be a playmaker at the catch point. Really, really physical kind of player. Kind of the guy that I feel like Nick Saban would like. And you're hearing Caleb Downs already getting a ton of hype. And I'm not saying he's going to be Caleb Downs, although you really like the range, the ball skills that he has, and the ability to come up in the box. You're going to see him working in the box right now, coming up, fitting a run, being physical. The versatility that Peyton Woodyard offers at that safety position, again, coming up, being physical in the run game, really, really like this get. And you take a look at what Alabama's doing in this 2024 class, and yeah, Alabama fans probably not used to seeing themselves outside of the top 10 national recruiting rankings. They'll move up once they factor in Peyton Woodyard's commitment, because this just happened. But taking a look, like, you have to be a really big fan. And Alabama had a phenomenal 2023 class. And I'll tell you what, Nick Saban's not going anywhere. And what I really like the most, two things. One, recruiting the state of California at a very high level, right? Going out and getting quarterback one in Julian Sayin, Xavier Brown coming from modern day. Now you go get Peyton Woodyard, who plays at St. John Bosco out in California, doing a nice job recruiting the state of California. And on top of that, the secondary group, I mean, this is going to be one of the better secondary classes that we see. Just looking at some of their top commits, Xavier Brown, who we've talked about, one of the more polished cornerbacks you'll see in this 2024 class. You add in Peyton Woodyard, who I think is just a dynamic safety that can do a lot of different things, can play that nickel, no doubt about that. And then Jalen Mbakwe, probably the freakiest athlete, or one of the freakiest athletes you'll see in this 2024 class. Again, a guy that I probably could be an elite wide receiver if he wanted to, but kind of Kool-Aid McKinstry vibes at that cornerback spot. And you round it out with some other really, really nice prospects, and Caleb Oden, who, again, talked about him, really, really good football player. Now, Alabama fans, I want to just highlight one thing that I think is relatively important. Yes, it's a top 10 national rank. The 10th best class in the country, but you take a look at the team rankings, right? They're sitting at a 92.97, so essentially a 93 average commit grade, right? A lot of the teams that are above them, Oregon, Michigan, Notre Dame, they already have 20 to 25, in Michigan's case, 27 commits into the fold, right? Alabama, though, with this average commit rate of a 92.97, you take a look at some of the top classes that you see. I mean, once they fill this class out, like you're going to see Alabama come into a top 5 class. And again, at the end of the day, it's really, really hard to see Alabama not finishing as a top 5 class. And again, a lot of targets for them still on the board. But what I think you're seeing most of all, and Alabama fans know this because they've lost a few commitments as well, is these kids are committing a lot earlier than normal, right? We've never seen, I mean, like almost half of the top 247 prospects, I believe more than half, are already committed to a school. I'll say two things. One, it doesn't really matter whether you're committed or not right now. It matters who you're committed to in December. And you're already seeing the flip commitments start coming in, right? Perry Thompson, DeMarcus Riddick in the SEC. And then you're seeing a guy like Peyton Woodyard, who was committed to Georgia for a very long time, flips his commitment to Alabama. I could certainly see Alabama turning it up for a few more of these top prospects. And again, get the spatulas out, especially if Alabama is as good. I feel like there's this narrative that the Alabama legacy, the Alabama empire is on the way down. Like this Alabama team is going to be one of the better teams. We've talked a lot of Alabama heading into the 2023 season, what you're going to see on their field. Yes, they have question marks about the quarterback. This Alabama team is still going to be one of the best teams in the country, if not the best team in the country. And they get it done here, landing Peyton Woodyard. Again, I would have a feeling that some more flip commitments are certainly going to be coming in for Alabama. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with the boys as usual. And if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.